Hi everyone, and welcome to the Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising Spiritual Connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Service. I am Lauren. Welcome. So all content on this channel, as well as my website, are here to engage you with the Triad of Engagement, which is taking a look at the three basic principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and showing how when you apply them together, they can keep you feeling fully engaged and in flow with the unique energetic imprint of your life. Additionally, all content is here to help you start to answer your very own I am question, so that you can re-engage with life in a more authentic, meaningful, emotionally fulfilling, and aware way. If you're interested in learning more about the Triad of Engagement, you can click on either of the two video links in the description box below to learn more about how it can help liberate you from the frustrating feelings of anxiety, fear, and detachment, and reconnect you with the feelings of purpose and place, meaning, and emotional fulfillment. All right, Geminis, let's jump right into your reading. So spiritual connection, what does that mean? That means we are taking a look today at your unique, spiritual, individual self and its connection to your external environment. So we're going to be pulling some cards to take a look at your energy versus your external environment, and what is perhaps some areas of fear or anxiety or learned negative thought patterns that are preventing you from bringing out the best version of yourself, your unique self, into engagement with your external environment so that you can fulfill the role that you are needed to fulfill in your external environment. All right. So Gemini, let's take a look at the energy that you're currently sitting with. What are our lovely Geminis sitting with? Now I'm recording this Actually, I think I'm recording this on July 1st. So we're heading into a new month, getting into summer here. It's actually a very beautiful day outside right now. All right. So Gemini, we have King of Swords. King of Swords is a great energy for you guys because the King of Swords is really, it's a powerful depiction of what it's like to be strong with the air element, which Gemini, you are a mutable air sign, meaning that you guys are able to work with air energy, which is the energy of communication, the energy of thought. And being mutable means that you guys have this great ability to be highly adaptable to change. You guys are one of the signs that harness the energy of change, which is beautiful. Now, the King of Swords he really focuses on truth. He is somebody who is going to be, he's wielding his sword of personal truth, but it goes a step beyond that. He's wielding the sword of truth. So there is this element of almost bringing in a sense of justice with this card, and being very in control of your thoughts. So imagine you have somebody in your life that you know if you go to them with a problem or an issue, they're always going to be able to speak the truth or show you the best way to handle that situation coming from a place of fairness and honesty. And that's really what the King of Swords denotes. He can come across, the energy can come across as a little cold at times, because it is kind of cutting through and just giving the honest truth. But that's actually, again, a very powerful place to come from. So you guys are sitting with some very strong energy here that aligns very well with your sign's natural gifts and energy. All right, so let's see. Ooh. All right, the last reading just got this as well. Interesting. So in your external environment, we have the Devil. Now, the Devil is not necessarily, this is not, going to show the depiction of the devil that we often associate in a religious context. The Devil is more about showing us what we ourselves chain or hold ourselves back by. This is not allowing our external environment to hold us back, which is often what the devil is depicted as, an external energy that's coming in to do some type of harm to us. Instead, this is more about showing us areas where we are choosing not to take action, where we are making excuses in our life to stay, again, loosely chained to something that we can easily remove the chains from and move past. So what I'm seeing here, the engagement between these two, is that you guys are sitting in a place of strong truth, being able to see very clearly your environment and seeing clearly the truth in situations. And I think right now, the reason why you're being called to engage this part of yourself with your external environment is to be able to see where you are being held back, and perhaps also to see the dynamics between either people in your external environment or situations, and where either somebody else is holding themselves back and you are in a position to be able to speak truth to that, or where your dynamic is actually holding you back. So now I'm going to pull some cards to take a look at possible fear and anxiety and challenges that are preventing you from really stepping in and utilizing this energy in your external environment. And what I call this space here, I call this the void. So for anybody who wants to learn more about the void, you can click on the first link for the Triad of Engagement in the description box below. It's the one that's labeled a visual interpretation. But basically what the void is the void is a protective barrier that we create ourselves as a place of separation between our unique, internal, authentic spiritual selves and being in open, vulnerable engagement with our external environment. Meaning that as we move from childhood into adulthood, each time we attempted to kind of flex a part of ourselves in the external environment to engage it. So let's say you're bringing out, a version of yourself as a child, and maybe it's in a classroom setting and it gets mocked by the other children in the classroom, or the teacher says, no, that's not quite how we see things or do things here. You're going to put up this layer of almost masking between you and bringing that part of yourself out again authentically and vulnerably. And we end up doing that so much as we grow up. All of these parts of ourselves that we end up hiding and altering and layering something in front of, so that we don't have to go through that kind of pain again of having that part of ourself ridiculed or having that part of ourself in a vulnerable position. But what happens is that we end up then getting to a place where we are no longer emotionally connected and engaged to our external environment. And that can become really a sad place to be, because that's where we can get frustrated. We take a look and we're going through our day-to-day motions and nothing seems to be gelling. We don't really care about what we're doing because we're truly not engaging any authentic part of ourselves with our external environment. We're just going through the motions. And this is where when we start to look at our external environment, we realize, well, nothing seems to be representing me. The job I have doesn't make me happy. The people I have around me don't seem to be seeing me for the person I want to be seen as. And this is because they can't, because you've built this layer of barrier up between yourself and your external environment. And vice versa then, the external environment suffers because you are not fulfilling your unique spiritual role as your individual self by bringing your unique abilities, hopes, dreams, and gifts into the external environment to be of service and to fulfill a need that you were specifically created to fulfill. All right, Gemini. So we're going to jump in and take a look here at your first fear point. So just to go over the cards that came out for the void, we have Judgment, Prince of Pentacles, which in this deck is the Knight of Pentacles. We have King of Wands, the High Priestess, the Fool, and the Princess of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles in this deck. So what I'm seeing here, Gemini, with Judgment. Judgment is a big card. This is a card of basically being called up to be a new version of yourself, to step forward as a new version. This is a energy that is definitely more, although it can involve external changes, generally the Judgment card for me harnesses an internal energy. This is when you wake up one day and you see everything in your life in a new light. When you realize that the work you're doing doesn't resonate with you anymore, that the home life you've created, you've outgrown, that the hobbies you had no longer interest you. It's one of those things where it's really this internal shift of where now you are a different version of yourself. You have evolved. And it's something that we can't hide from. The more that we try to hide from this type of energy, the more we suffer basically at our own behest. The more that we decide to not see the truth, to not sit in this place of kind of cold detachment, to realize, okay, I've changed and this is my new truth, the more we get frustrated with every aspect of our life. And this is where we can actually also start to put on others our internal frustration. This is where when we're no longer happy with our work, but we hold our significant other responsible for making us go every day to a job we're no longer happy with. Or this is when we realize that we don't want to, let's say, be a part of a sport that we've been part of our entire life. We're over it. We've hit that point. We've learned all we can. We want to move on. But yet we feel that people rely on us in here. We're an expert. We're seen as somebody who people can come to for advice, and we've put ourselves in that position. And instead of saying, okay, guys, unfortunately I'm passing the baton and I'm on to new things in my life, we then put ourselves into a martyr position of, well, this is my lot in life. I've already committed and I just have to stay in this position. And then we end up our interactions with others end up becoming less and less authentic and more frustrated. And that can in turn provide us with a result that we were not expecting. So where this can be an element of fear is realizing that this new version of yourself has to now involve taking internal action to start to change things and to realize that this will directly influence your external environment. And that can be scary. Generally, our fear points stem from something that's happened previously to us. So Gemini, there's probably been a point in your life where there was a great change, where you went through something similar, where you were called up to change who you were, and it involved changing your external environment, and it might not have come from a positive place. Sometimes change like this doesn't come from us waking up one day and hearing the birds chirp and realize, now I want to do this. It's more about growth, and growth can be painful, but it's always necessary. And with this coupled with then coming into the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles, this is a slow-moving growth energy. This is the energy of what I call the planter. He's somebody who's given the seeds by the king and is asked to go out, plan a vision for what to do with these new seeds, and then enact that vision, but slow and steady, so that all of these seeds get planted, that they are harvested in time and taken care of, and basically laying the seeds for a legacy. And so there is this element here with these two coming up that perhaps you are now having to lay the seeds from a new perspective. And you're not quite sure what that's going to entail. That can be scary. That can be, again, having to go out and reevaluate your vision for your life. And when we're thinking about the devil down here, this is really taking a look at areas that perhaps are holding you back. Excuses you're making for not taking this slow movement forward to start to grow something. Now, in the middle of your reading here, in the middle of the void, we have the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is somebody who is kind of, I look at it as the CEO energy. He or she is someone who really lives and takes action from a place of passion, and not just from a place of passion that's on a whim. Similar to the King of Swords, who's very strong in his truth and strong with his element, the King of Wands is the same. The King of Wands is strong with his passions. He can almost become single-minded with his passions, meaning if you think of like a Steve Jobs or I don't know why I can never remember the guy who owns Tesla and SpaceX. But if you think about, or Oprah Winfrey, or just, pick somebody who is very high up in their industry and who's made a specific niche for themselves, who really they had their own spark of passion and they created a kingdom from it. That's really the energy of the King of Wands. He's somebody who's going to be very focused on taking action from his own place of passion and sense of purpose that comes from that. And so, these are two very differing energies. The Page of Pentacles, the Prince of Pentacles, which is the Knight of Pentacles, is really about that slow moving, methodical planting, preparing for the future. And the King of Wands is like, this is what I want. This is what makes me feel good. This is my vision, and I'm going to take action on it. This is a little bit more of like him. He'd be the person that would come back and say like, are we done yet? Are we have you planned? Where's my results? I asked you to, this is like Steve Jobs. I asked you to create the iPhone. Where's the iPhone? Where is it? Because then on the other side, this is your challenge. So this is your fear point of okay, in the past I've moved slowly, I need to have everything in place. This is a card that's associated with the sign of Virgo, and Virgo is very detail oriented, but sometimes Virgos can get lost in the details, in the perfection of the details. And as we all know, there's no such thing as true perfection. That sometimes things just have to be released. Sometimes we just have to make a judgment call and take action. Sometimes we just wake up and realize we can't do this job anymore. We can't do this hobby anymore. And we have to just accept that and be honest and true to ourselves and realize it's time now to step up into a more self-empowered energy. Because on the other side, we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is a beautiful major arcana card that really talks about having direct connection to spirit through your intuition. It's that knowledge that all information lies within us. All the answers lie within us. They are not external to us. And it can denote actually being able to make a decision based on that, to be able to move forward by tapping into what you know is right for you. And then your ultimate, what you have to cross this threshold here before engaging with your external environment is the Fool and the Princess of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles. So there's this element here of stepping into this brand new cycle, the Fool is the 0 card. This is the 0 point. And when we think of the concept of the number 0, it is where everything and nothing exists at one time. This is kind of like the limitless being suspended in between what can be, what is not, what will never. It's like this beautiful element of everything and nothing. And so you have this ability to, coupled with the Page of Pentacles, be able to go out and start fresh, to gain more information as to what this new start looks like, because judgment really is kind of being called up as this new version of self, and that involves stepping into this. Everything else prior to this point is wiped clean. The slate is wiped clean. You are now this new version of self. And this new version of self harnesses everything that you want with faith, that you're going to go out there and be supported by spirit. The Fool is not held back by anything. The Fool is actually in the picture about to leap off the cliff happily because he knows that he will be supported by the universe. He's not held back by the chains of the devil. He's not held back by anything anymore. And specifically what I'm really getting a feel for here, Gemini, is that you're not being held back by the past. That's the challenge, to release your past, to release everything that was before and look at yourself as this fresh individual. And that you can't control the steps moving forward. It's kind of like you're being told the time is now. The time is now to start acting from a place of your own passion. And to be strong in that. And to be able to speak that as well, to communicate that, to be able to wield this knowledge, this version of your truth, and to be able to be very kind of coldly honest about it, to say, this is my truth, this is what's happened, this is the new version of me. And what's interesting is that the Page of Pentacles comes before the Knight of Pentacles. And the Page of Pentacles is about gathering more information. It can actually be the person going back to kind of becoming like a student mind mentality. And it's a beautiful place to be because it's more of this fresh childlike energy of working in the tangible world with a seed. Instead of this very methodical, so focused on the details, this is like, let's go out and see what we can do with this. And so I feel like you're facing that fear of control, of I have to do step by step by step by step. And moving in, and what you're being asked to move into is releasing yourself from this need to control and step into, you know what's changed. You know what lights your fire. Now it's time for you to have faith in the universe, release what's been, and step into this new version of self. But this new version of self has more of this fresh, childlike, innocent energy around gaining more perspective, or specifically just getting more information, getting your hands dirty with this new version of yourself. All right, so now I'm going to pull some cards down here for the Triad of Engagement. And this is going to help give us some more information as to how to help navigate across the void to be able to kind of step into this new truth and engage it authentically with your external environment. And we're going to see too how this is going to be of service to both yourself. What are you going to see and unlock about yourself? And also how this is going to be of service in your external environment. Why are you being called now to connect this new version of self to your external environment? Now, the first card I'm going to pull is for the principle of curiosity. And curiosity is where we get ready to take action. It's actually us building the bridge between our internal unique selves and our external environment. And this is where we get ready to be open to our external environment again. Instead of being closed off and afraid and staying on this side of the void to avoid engaging with the unknown elements and the scary elements of our external environment, we instead open ourselves back up. Ooh, let me see if I can reach that. Of course, it falls on the floor. With the unknown elements, we engage with the true power that lies within the principle of curiosity, which is realizing, having an optimistic view towards your external environment, realizing that we can never control everything, and that oftentimes we are put into a place of awe and wonder by what we experience, by what comes in, because we can never predict everything. We will never know everything about our external environment. As much as you could be in a scientific field and you are diving deeper and deeper and deeper, trying to, get down to that mystery of life, the reality is no one person in their lifetime is going to understand everything about the mystery of life. And so that's really where we have to stay open and receptive, because there is the element that we are meant to fulfill a role, and that the universe destiny is here to support that. But we have to also engage our free will to take advantage, to co-create, to engage free will with destiny, so that we are taking action to unlock our place and purpose so that we can find our meaning. So for curiosity, we have the angel of strength, which is beautiful. So when we're thinking about being open and receptive, strength is about specifically, well, first of all, being strong. But I think this angel of strength card really, I think is tied directly to the strength card in the major arcana of the Rider-Waite Tarot, which is showing that strength doesn't have to be an external show of will, that it can actually be this internal, and actually kind of, relates to the high priestess here, that this can be an internal realization that you know who you are, you're confident in your place in the universe, and you don't need to exert yourself or your will on others. You can instead be confident and respect yourself and do that towards others as well. Apply that towards others so that you come from a place of strength through softness and grace. And so as we're building this bridge, I think two things is to be open and curious as to how what you've learned up until this point has given you this sense of strength. But in addition to that, to open yourself up now to the strength of the awareness of truth and your ability to communicate it, and to be open and receptive to how, by bringing this out into your external environment, it's going to bring in the opportunities that are specific to you, that perhaps you've cut yourself off from because you haven't taken the step towards moving out as this new version of self. All right, now I'm going to pull a card for courage. And courage is our seat of personal power. This is where we now have movement. We get to have courage to make the decision, to take action, to walk across the bridge of curiosity. This is where we now realize that we always have within our power the ability to control our reaction and the actions we choose to take. So we cannot control our external environment. We cannot control what comes in. We cannot control other people in our environment, but we can control ourselves. And so this is where we get a chance to really work with our free will, and work with ourselves to understand, again, what part of ourselves we want to bring out and engage with our external environment. So we have surrender to complete healing. It says, open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe that support your physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. Beautiful. So when we think about taking action, this is about finding courage through healing, through release. I always look at healing as not only the traditional sense of healing, but it is the release of the things that wound us. It's the release of the pain that comes from the old version of ourselves. And this, when it says open fully to the loving, compassionate forces of the universe, this is really about kind of embodying that full energy of surrendering to the fact that the universe is a place of love, that you are a part of love. You have the ability to give love to others as much as to receive, and you are worthy of being able to give both from a place of strength. But in addition to that, what's going to give you courage to walk across this bridge now where perhaps you didn't have it before is to really understand that you are loved by the universe, and that whatever things have held you back, or that you yourself have allowed yourself to be held back by, you have the ability now to step into a place of faith. So curiosity engages us with the awe and wonder component of engaging with our external environment. Courage engages us with faith, because taking action always involves an element of having faith in the outcome. And this is saying that right now, the universe is supporting you from a place of love. So it's okay, walk across that bridge. It's okay to step into your seat and work with the energy of your own passions. It's okay to take that leap off that cliff, because you're supported now. You wouldn't have been called up otherwise. You wouldn't be strong in your ability to express your new version of truth and sense of self unless you otherwise. Like, you are being told now by the universe, please come out. I'm calling your name. Please come out. Because you're going to be, in doing that, starting to work with something that's necessary. Starting to work with something that's going to help show you the next steps in your path. And it's going to help really, I think, get you guys to feel and emotionally connect to your personal meaning. CEOs who come from a place of passion, or industry leaders, or just people who are leaders in working with their own passions, they are always shining examples of, for us, filling a niche, filling that specific role, being of service in what they choose to bring forward. And I think, and they find meaning from that. They find meaning in what they choose to focus on in that niche. And I think that that's kind of what you're looking for, Gemini, and that's what you'll find. If you can have the courage to surrender to healing, to release your tie to trying to control the step-by-step, and just get out there and take a leap. All right, and so for contemplation, which is the last principle in the Triad of Engagement, contemplation is important because it's actually your ticket back across the bridge. So after we take action to walk across, we then have the ability through contemplation, which involves reflection and integration, the ability to come back and be responsible to self in taking a look at the results of the reactions and the consequences of us engaging and taking action and making choices in our external environment. And this is where we get a chance to continually self-educate through direct experience with our external environment. So you have leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. And this always reminds me of the Fool card, so that's beautiful. It says protection, call back your power, cut your cords, soul retrieval. And soul family, call in your tribe, you don't have to do it alone. And I think that these kind of sum up this whole reading beautifully, in that when we think of contemplation and integration, well, we're looking at, okay, leap, you go first, the universe will catch you. When we're bringing that into a place of coming back and saying, okay, I'm taking action towards making this leap. What has opened up for me since deciding to do this, since deciding to make some change, take some action? What has opened up to me as I've confidently and with faith taken a leap, knowing in full faith that this is what I'm meant to do at this time? In addition to that, protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. This is really speaking to what you're leaving behind. When we talk about surrender to complete healing, well, that means that at some point prior to this new version of self, you were probably hurt. That's why you put in place this very detailed and kind of control element of like, I will keep control of everything because last time it got out of control and I got hurt. And what this is saying is call back your power from that. You don't have to be in a place of control. You don't have to try to even control other people. You can release that fear and come back and realize you don't have to be tied to other people. And I think specifically this is what you guys are being asked to really realize here in the external environment. What's been holding you back? Is this your tie to trying to control other people? Or in return, or the reverse, being controlled and allowing yourself to be controlled by others. Being influenced by your external environment in a way where you're trying to control the external environment. And in reality, you just kind of need to let it be and realize your power lies within. Let others do what they're going to do. Let the environment, let destiny bring in what destiny is going to bring in, but come back to this. Come back to the truth of yourself. Come back to your ability to see things honestly and to express yourself and to just kind of keep your eyes on your own prize. That's what the Page of Pentacles really talks about. It's almost like this childlike energy of looking at your own toy. You're not looking at other kids' toys. You're looking at your toy and what you can do with this. And it's an element of fun. An element of to go out there and have fun while you're figuring out the next steps with this new seed. And then we have soul family. It says, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So once you realize who you are, strong in self, strong in this new vision and the release that comes with, I'm being called up for a reason. So I'm going to start to just act on my passions and make decisions based on me and my direct connection to spirit as guidance so that I can move forward as this fresh start. Surrender to healing and let go of all of what's happened in the past. Now you can start to see who's really part of your tribe. Who perhaps do you need to release yourself from that you've been tied to be able to move forward as this new version of self? And who is now part of your new tribe? When he jumps off this ledge, who is he going to find that's there to help support him on his new path? You're not being asked to do everything alone. No one lives in a vacuum. You can see even in this judgment card, other people are being called up together at the same time. And so that's something that we have to always keep in mind, is that although we feel, we each have our own individual place and purpose and path, we are in direct connection to the entire collective experience. And so there are others who are going through a similar time and experience as well, and those are going to be the people that you'll be able to meet on this road ahead because they're traveling on the same path as you. Okay, now I'm going to pull just some final additional clarification cards for your energy to see if there's any additional messages that want to come out for either your energy or the external energy. So let's see if there's any additional messages here. So we have Two of Swords. Any additional energy. And the Three of Wands. And then for the external environment, we have, let's see here, anything else for clarification of the Devil? We have the Ten of Coins. Oh, beautiful. I'm gonna put this up here. And let's see if anything else wants to come in. Oof, that is way too many. Sorry, guys. Let's get just a few here. And the Five of Wands. Okay, beautiful. All right, so we have Two of Swords and the Three of Wands. The Two of Swords denotes the illusion. It's basically being blindfolded, holding two swords and not wanting to make a decision. And it's the illusion that we don't know what sword is our truth. And so that's why we can't make a decision. We're trying to sit there and find the differences between two swords that are identical, because in reality, there is only one sword. There is only that sword of your truth, and ultimately the truth. And so what I'm seeing here is, with you coming out and engaging with your external environment, you're going to be able to see where you've been holding yourself back, where you've been thinking that there were two options when in reality there's only one. And the Three of Wands talks about it's kind of your ships coming in type energy. This is when you've taken some action, and you've taken some action from a place of passion, and now you're kind of sitting back and looking at, okay, what's going to come in from all of this work I've put out there? But sometimes it can become almost like a passive energy where you're just waiting instead of actively engaging with, okay, I've got the ball rolling in a few different areas. Let me keep the ball rolling as I'm waiting to see what will come. So there is this energy of this Two of Swords of perhaps it's been kind of holding you back from taking advantage of what is coming in, because you've been sitting here blindfolded saying, well, if this comes in and this comes in and this comes in, how am I going to make a choice? And in reality, it's saying, well, you can't. How are you going to make a choice anyways if you're blindfolded, sitting here while your ships are coming in? So it isn't about having that fear of, well, how am I going to know what to make a decision on as all of these things come in? It's more about realizing, okay, the more that you engage with your external environment as this new version of self, the more you're going to engage with what's actually coming in for you. And this indecision will disappear. It will be shown as the illusion that it is, because you'll be able to sit with strong in your truth, and this will literally evaporate into, now you're just seeing, okay, what's coming in. Again, without engaging with your external environment, you're never going to be able to actually engage with your ships coming in, with the results of your actions. Because then on this side, with what we have over here, as far as what's coming in on your external environment, it's the Ten of Coins and the Five of Wands. And the Ten of Coins is the legacy card. This is the card of achieving true, I would say physical abundance. It's the card of basically whatever you see for yourself, either on a financial or tangible way of what would make you feel fulfilled. What is your ultimate legacy? By being able to take full advantage of what's coming in and having the self-awareness as to what to do to be able to see the opportunities that come from your efforts in the external environment. You're going to be able to see where you can take now this new seed with this kind of fool's-like mentality and how it's going to fit into creating your legacy, how you can then grow that into your abundance without having to go through the Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands is kind of testing your passions. It's actually getting out there, and it can be a card of chaos where you're kind of like in the thick of you know, kind of fighting with your sticks with other people. But there's also this quality to that where it's actually it's a testing ground of you being able to test your passion, your choice and action out there, kind of on an equal playing field with others. And I think that that's really where you're going to realize as you start to come into interaction from this place of very strong truth and honesty and self-integrity in the external environment, that you're going to see where there's current kind of chaos and noise around what you're trying to do around, you know, and again, this can be possibly the things that you're being chained to, is kind of putting yourself in this kind of place of chaos and noise of other people or just situations, or also where you've been preventing yourself from actually testing a passion, working with your passions, working with decision making and action taking, and seeing how that can actually work with this new kind of financial, or not financial, it can be just a physical start, this fresh seed, and how it can help build and lead towards this legacy. It's not always about the step-by-step planning. Sometimes it's more about just getting out there and getting into the fray, jumping in without being afraid. Jumping in with the full knowledge that the universe has your back, that you're supported, that they want you to go out there and to have fun. And, you know, Gemini, you are a mutable sign, so the number 5 in numerology really denotes change. And it is kind of a mutable energy. It's the energy of, can be the energy of chaos, but it's also the energy of what breaks down and rebuilds. And so this is kind of this, I think for you guys, stepping into more of your own mutable energy, being strong in that, and really it's time to get out there, get into the fray, get into the mix, and instead of being afraid of the chaos, realize that this is how you're going to actually see your ability to create your legacy without having to do this, and create your legacy as the new version of self, and to prioritize yourself and your vision, and to release this need to control, this methodical step by step by step. Which is interesting because I feel like some signs are being told, slow down, step into your methodicalness. Gemini, you're not a methodical energy, and sometimes we have to just embrace that. You are a mutable sign, and so that part of yourself is being asked right now to engage with the external environment. Your ability to navigate change is what's going to lead to your financial abundance. All right, Gemini, I hope this has been an illuminating reading. If you enjoy this, you can feel free to leave me a comment or like and subscribe. If you'd like to book a private personal tarot reading or a one-on-one spiritual counseling session, the link to my website is in the description box below, and I look forward to reading for your next spiritual connection reading. Bye, Gemini.